Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Or if you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now, because we're diving into some seriously creepy stuff today. The title says it all. For disturbing restaurant stories to make you call off work. These are real experiences from people who worked in the food industry. Places where you think everything's normal. Customers coming in, orders flying out, the hustle of the kitchen. But underneath, something seriously off. Trust me. After hearing these, you might think twice before your next shift, or even your next meal out. Before I get into the stories, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got way more terrifying real-life stories coming up, and you don't want to miss them. Alright, let's start with the first one. This comes from a guy named Mike, who used to work the night shift at a 24-hour diner called Rosie's off I-95 in rural Pennsylvania. You know the kind. Truck stop vibes, neon sign flickering, big parking lot for semis. Mike was a cook, been there about 6 months, pulling graves from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Mostly quiet after midnight, just the occasional trucker grabbing coffee or a late night drunk stumbling in for greasy eggs. One night, around 2 a.m., it's dead silent. No customers, radio off because the manager was cheap about electricity. Mike's in the back prepping for breakfast rush, chopping onions. When he hears the front doorbell ding, he wipes his hands, pokes his head out. Nobody there. Empty booths. Empty counter. He figures it's the wind or something, goes back to work. 10 minutes later, ding again. This time he walks all the way out. Still nothing. Checks the door, locked properly, no breeze. He's a little weirded out, but shakes it off. Places like this creak and groan at night, right? But then it keeps happening. Every 15 to 20 minutes, that bell dings like someone's coming in. Mike starts timing it. He even stands by the door for a half hour. Nothing. No cars in the lot. No footprints in the fresh snow outside. He's alone with the waitress, Sarah, who's up front reading a magazine under the dim lights. He asks her, "You hearing that bell too?" She looks up, pale. "Yeah, I thought it was you messing around." Nope. They both start getting paranoid. Sarah says she's heard whispers before, late at night, like someone ordering food, but no one's there. Mike laughs it off at first, but then, around 3:30 a.m., the bell dings again, and this time he hears footsteps. Slow, dragging footsteps across a linoleum floor, heading toward the counter. Mike freezes in the kitchen pass-through. Sarah's staring at the same spot, but there's no one. Just a sound, scuff, 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 stopping right in front of her. Then a voice, low, raspy, like an old man, coffee black. Sarah screams, drops her magazine. Mike bolts out, flipping on all the lights. Nothing. Empty. They call the manager, who shows up grumpy but checks the security cams later. Here's the creepy part. The footage shows the bell rope moving by itself, like an invisible hand pulling it. And in the audio, faint footsteps. But no figure, no shadow even. Mike quit the next week. Sarah too. They say the diner had a history. An old regular died there years ago. Heart attack at the counter, waiting for his coffee. Truckers still report the bell dinging on quiet nights. Makes your skin crawl, doesn't it? Imagining working alone, hearing someone or something walk up and order like nothing's wrong. Okay, story number 2. This one's from Emily, a server at a fancy Italian place in downtown Chicago called Vincenzo's. High-end, white tablecloths, dim lighting, the kind where celebrities pop in sometimes. Emily loved the tips, hated the closing shifts. The restaurant was in an old building from the 1920s. Brick walls, basement wine cellar that creaked like hell. Staff always joked about it being haunted because of the Prohibition era. Rumor was it was a speakeasy back then, and some mob hits went down in the basement. Emily didn't buy it until one closing night. It's past midnight. Last customer's gone. She's wiping down tables with the bartender, Alex, and the chef. Lights are half off, just the bar glow and kitchen fluorescence. They're chatting normal stuff when Emily hears it. A faint crying, like a child, soft sobs coming from downstairs. She stops. "You guys hear that?" Alex laughs. "Pipes, probably. This place is ancient." But it happens again. Louder. definitely crying and now whispering. Words she can't make out. Chef goes pale. He knows the stories. Apparently, during renovations, they found old bones in the basement wall. A kid, maybe 10 years old, bricked up, never identified, from the speakeasy days. They try to ignore it, finish closing. But as Emily's counting tips in the office upstairs, the crying stops, and footsteps start coming up the basement stairs. Slow, small feet. Pat, Pat, Pat. She radios Alex. Someone's down there. They all meet at the basement door. Chef opens it. Pitch black down there, no lights on. They flip the switch. Nothing at first. Then, from the bottom, Mama, a child's voice, clear as day. Emily's heart stops. None of them have kids there. No one in the building. They slam the door, lock it, finish up in record time, and get out. Next day, manager checks cams, shows a small shadow moving across the basement floor, like a kid running. Emily transferred to days after that. Says she still hears crying sometimes when she's near old buildings in Chicago. Gives you chills, right? That innocent voice in the dark, calling for someone who's been gone a century. Before I hit the third one, if you're feeling that goosebump vibe already, like the video and subscribe. We're just getting started. Story 3. This is from Jake, a manager at a chain fast food joint in a small town in Texas. Think burger bar off the highway, in the middle of nowhere. Flat lands, stars bright at night, but the restaurant backs onto an old cemetery. Yeah, you heard that right. The property line literally touches graves from the 1800s. Most employees didn't care. Day shifts busy with families, nights with locals. But Jake started noticing weird stuff during inventory in the walk-in freezer. The freezer's huge, always cold obviously, but one corner felt colder, like unnaturally, and he'd hear scratching from inside the walls. At first, rats, right? They called pest control. Nothing. No droppings, no holes. Then employees start complaining about shadows in the drive-thru window, like someone standing outside, but when you look, no car, no person. One night, Jake's closing alone because a worker called out. It's stormy, thunder rumbling, power flickers. He's in the back mopping when the drive-thru headset crackles. Static, then a voice. Number 1, no onions. Jake's like, what? No cars pulled up. He checks the sensor. Nothing triggered. It happens again. Can I add fries? Voice sounds muffled. Old-fashioned, almost. Jake radios out. No response needed. But he's freaked. Goes to the window. Rain pouring, lightning flashes. And for a split second, he sees a figure. Pale face pressed against the glass. Eyes sunken, mouth moving. He jumps back, heart pounding. Figure's gone when lightning hits again. Later, checking old records, Jake finds out the land was part of the cemetery expansion that never happened. Some graves shifted, but a few forgotten, unmarked under the parking lot. Employees say orders still come to the headset, sometimes, late at night. Old menu items from decades ago. Jake quit, moved cities, says he can't eat fast food anymore without checking the corners for shadows. Imagine pulling up to a drive-thru and wondering if the voice taking your order is alive. Last one, story 4. This is the one that really got to me. From a woman named Lisa, head chef at a seafood restaurant on the coast in Maine. Place called Harbor Grill, right on the docks in a foggy little town. The building's old whaling era, wooden beams, smells like salt and fish always. Basement used for storage, but flooded sometimes with high tide. Creepy as hell down there. Lisa worked openings mostly, prepping lobster tanks, fresh catches. But one winter, business slow, they do renovations, knock out a wall in the basement for more storage. That's when they find it, a hidden room, bricked up with chains bolted to the wall. Old, rusted, and scratches. Deep claw marks in the wood, like someone trapped trying to get out. Local history buff tells them. Back in the 1800s, the place was an inn, and the owner went mad, locked his family in the basement during a storm, thinking they were possessed or something. They starved. Bodies never found properly, washed away or buried secret. Lisa tries to brush it off. Old tragedy, whatever. But after that, things change. Lights flicker in the kitchen when no one's near switches. Knives move on their own. Lisa finds them rearranged magnetic strips pointed downward. Worst is the smells. Rotting fish, but worse, like decay, and whispers in the vents. Names, please. One night, storm raging like the old stories, power out. Lisa's there late, finishing prep by lantern light, because generator failed. She hears banging from downstairs. Loud, rhythmic, like fists on wood. Goes to check, basement door creaking open by itself. Down the stairs, water ankle deep from tide. In the hidden room, chains rattling. Swinging, though no wind. Then shapes in the dark. Pale hands reaching from the shadows. Lisa runs up, barricades the door. Calls cops. They find nothing but wet footprints leading nowhere. She quit the next day. Restaurant closed soon after. Too many staff quitting. Customers complaining of feeling watched. But here's the twist that stunned everyone. Years later, a new owner reopens, does more reno, finds bones in the walls. Small ones. A whole family. Lisa says she still wakes up smelling decay. Can't eat seafood anymore. Guys, these stories are why I think twice about late shifts. Real people, real places. Rosie's Diner in PA, Vincenzo's in Chicago, that burger barn in Texas, Harbor Grill in Maine. If you're working food service, stay safe out there. If these gave you the creeps, and I know they did, subscribe for more. Drop in the comments if you've got a disturbing restaurant story of your own. Hit like, notify on, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay spooky. Alright, here we go, part 2. No intro, no fluff. Just straight into 4 more disturbing restaurant stories that people swear actually happened to them. These ones hit different. They're slower, quieter, and way more personal. By the time you finish reading, you'll probably check the locks twice tonight, and maybe avoid eating out for a while. Story 5 comes from a guy named Derek, a bartender at a historic pub in Savannah, Georgia called the Old Harbor Inn. The building dates back to 1812, brick walls, low ceilings, the kind of place where it would floor creaks no matter how carefully you step. Tourists love it for the ghost tours that stop outside every night, but the staff know the real stuff happens after closing. Derek usually closed alone on weekdays. Around 1:30 a.m., he'd dim the lights, count the drawer, wipe down the long mahogany bar. One February night, it was pouring rain, streets empty. He's polishing glasses when he notices one stool at the far end is pulled out. Not unusual. People move them, but he knows he pushed every single one in an hour earlier. He walks over, pushes it back in, goes back to the register. 5 minutes later, the same stool is out again, this time a little farther, like someone sat down heavily. Derek mutters to himself, pushes it in again. He's not scared yet, just annoyed. Then he smells it. Old pipe tobacco. Strong, sweet, the kind nobody smokes anymore. It drifts right from that end of the bar. He looks around. No windows open, no customers left. The smell gets thicker, and now he hears breathing. Slow, wet, right behind him. He turns fast. Nothing, but the stool is out again. And this time there's a wet ring on the bar top, like a glass just sat there. Condensation dripping down the wood. Derek freezes. He knows the story. Back in the 1850s, a regular named Captain Harlan used to sit in that exact spot every night, smoking his pipe, drinking rum until he passed out. One stormy night, he never woke up, died right there on the bar. They say he still comes back when it rains hard. Derek tries to laugh it off, but his hands are shaking as he finishes closing. He turns off the lights, heads to the door. As he locks it from the outside, he hears it clear as day through the wood. The scrape of that stool being pulled out one more time, then the low creak of someone settling their weight onto it. He didn't go back for 3 days. When he did, the stool was pushed in perfectly. But there was a fresh wet ring on the bar, and the faint smell of pipe tobacco lingered until spring. Story 6. This one's from Rachel, a hostess at a family-owned steakhouse in Denver called the Silver Spur. It's one of those places with dark leather booths, mounted animal heads on walls, and a massive stone fireplace that they keep burning even in summer for the vibe. The creepy part isn't the dining room. It's the walk-in cooler in the back. Huge, industrial, always kept at 34 degrees. Staff hated going there alone because the door is heavy and the light switch is on the far wall. So you step into pitch black cold for a few seconds every time. Rachel started noticing little things. Handprints on the stainless steel shelves. Small ones like a child's, always in the same spot near the ground beef bins. They wiped them clean, but next shift they'd be back, foggy from the cold. Then the whispering started, only inside the cooler. Soft, fast words she could never quite catch. Sounded like a little girl counting or reciting something. One slow Tuesday night, Rachel goes in for steaks. Door swings shut behind her, normal. She flips the light, walks to the back. Halfway there, she realizes she's not alone. There's a shape in the corner. Small, crouched down, facing the wall. Rachel's breath clouds in front of her. She says hello, thinking maybe a kid wandered in somehow. The shape doesn't move, but the whispering stops dead. She takes one step closer. The temperature plummets. Her fingers go numb instantly. The shape slowly turns its head. No face, just smooth, pale skin where features should be. Like a mannequin, but wrong. Rachel screams, bolts to the door. It won't open. The inside handle spins freely, like it's disconnected. She's pounding, yelling for the cooks. 10 seconds, feels like minutes. And finally the door yanks open from outside. She falls out, gasping. The cooks say she was only inside for maybe 15 seconds total. But her watch had stopped. And on the security camera later, you see her enter, then nothing. Just empty cooler for 4 full minutes before she stumbles out. They found out afterward that in the 1970s, a little girl went missing from the parking lot. Never found. Police suspected she got locked in the old freezer by accident during a delivery. The restaurant rebuilt the cooler bigger in the 90s, right over the same spot. Rachel never went into a walk-in alone again. She quit 6 months later after finding tiny bloody handprints one morning, fresh, like they'd been made that night. Story 7 hits close for anyone who's ever worked fast casual. This is from Carlos, a shift lead at a burrito chain in Albuquerque called Rio Grande Grill. Busy location near the university. Open till 2 a.m. on weekends. The store has a big glass front, all lights blazing even late. But behind the line, past the prep area, there's a small dry storage room. Narrow, shelves floor to ceiling, single bulb with a pull string. Carlos hated restocking at night because the bulb would flicker and the door would drift shut even when he propped it. One Thursday, dead slow after midnight, he's in there grabbing tortilla bags. Door shuts. Bulb flickers once, twice, then steadies. He hears footsteps behind him. Soft sneakers on concrete. He turns, nobody, but the footsteps keep going, walking right past him toward the back wall. Carlos is out loud, "Yo, who's there?" thinking a co-worker is pranking him. No answer. Footsteps stop. Then something brushes his arm. Light like fingers. He jerks away, drops the tortillas, yanks the door open and gets out. Tells the closer, Mia. She laughs, until they both hear it. The footsteps again, slow, walking back toward the door. Then the pull string clicks and the light goes out. They check the camera that points down the hallway. Clear footage. The storage door is open, light on, nobody inside. Then the light clicks off by itself. Door slowly swings shut. Here's what got Carlos. A year earlier, a night crew member named Jesse had a seizure in that exact room. Collapsed between the shelves. Hit his head. By the time anyone found him, he was gone. They said he probably walked in, felt it coming on, tried to get out, but couldn't. Carlos swears sometimes late at night, the tortilla warmer beeps like someone starting an order, even when the screen is blank. And every so often, a bag of tortillas is found neatly stacked in the middle of the prep table. No one remembers putting it there. Story 8, the one that still keeps me up. This comes from Amanda, a server at a roadside cafe in the Montana Rockies called Pine Ridge Diner. Tiny place, maybe 10 tables, middle of nowhere on Highway 93. Snow half the year, self-service body. The diner never closes. True 24/7. Amanda pulled a lot of overnight shifts in winter, when it was just truckers and occasional lost traveler. One January night, blizzard raging, visibility zero. Around 3 a.m. the power flickers, but holds. Only one customer, an older man in a heavy coat, sitting quietly in a corner booth nursing black coffee. He'd come in about an hour earlier, barely spoke, paid cash up front. Amanda's in the back, washing dishes, when she hears the bell over the door jingle. She dries her hands, walks out. Booth is empty. Coffee cup still steaming. Half full. Money still on the table. She figures he went to bathroom. Waits. 5 minutes. 10. Calls out. No answer. She checks the men's room. Empty. Women's room. Empty. Kitchen. Cook says the guy never came past him. Outside, the snow is untouched. No footprints leading away from the door. The storm is so bad, you can't see the parking lot lights 10 feet away. But there's only one set of prints. The ones coming in. Amanda gets a bad feeling. She goes back to the booth. The coffee is still warm. But now there's something under the cup, a Polaroid photo. Old and faded. It shows the diner. Same booths, same counter, but taken from that exact seat. And in the photo, sitting across the table, is a woman smiling at the camera. A woman who looks exactly like Amanda. Same haircut, same uniform, same name tag. On the back of the photo, in shaky handwriting. See you soon. Amanda, freaked out, called the sheriff. They searched, nothing. No sign anyone else had been there. She quit the next morning. Drove south and never went back. But get this. 2 years later, a new server sent her a message on Facebook. Same booth, same night shift, same blizzard. A quiet older man came in, sat in the corner, ordered black coffee, paid cash up front. When he left, or vanished, the new girl found a Polaroid under the cup. This time it showed her sitting across from him, smiling. The diner still runs 24/7. Locals avoid it after midnight now. They say if you're working alone and an older man in a heavy coat comes in during a storm, don't look under the cup when he leaves. That's it. For more stories from people who walked away from restaurant jobs and never looked back, if you got one of your own, you know where the comments are. Otherwise, maybe just cook at home for a while.